So then, I just looked over some of the footage, and it's basically going to be the same thing for a couple of weeks, basically wiring, me not getting very far with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the videos up into a couple of different episodes, and we will sort of stagger them, so it might be 2 weeks, and maybe 3 weeks in between each video. So, hope you enjoy. So welcome back. Welcome back. Quick one before we get started. One, I hope we don't go into lockdown again. I know obviously it's quite a scary thing for everyone, and with 2 kids it is quite scary for me as well. But hopefully we won't. Second thing, obviously this vehicle is taking a lot longer than normal. So it's not going to be done for when I was hoping it would be done. There's a show towards Christmas I'd like to get her to, but sadly I don't think we are. I'm still waiting on DVLA. I'm still waiting on quite a lot of materials for the vehicle, so I'm waiting on the sheet steel, all the rear end bushes. I've got new ones, most of them are here, I'm waiting on a couple. There's loads of little things I'm still waiting on. So I'm super happy you're staying with me. I know it's taken longer than I was expecting. I know it's taken longer than the landlord expected. But I'm super pleased that everyone's staying with me and is supporting me through, well, building this monster. Obviously the micro, I don't know what's happening yet. It depends on how the channel grows. So, enough talking. Let's get down to some work. Let's get cracking. So, as you can see, we've come up with another dilemma with this water tank. Obviously, where I was going to put it before would have been fine, but we've had to obviously run the intake pipes in. What we are going to do is the top of that green bar I'm actually going to cut off, and I'm actually going to make it just a little bit bigger because it's actually pushing against my pipe. I knew they were tight, but I didn't think they were that tight. So what we're trying to do is make this one somewhere where it's not obviously too close to the turbo, not too close to the intercooler pipes, because obviously everything has to be kept cold. I'm thinking maybe just here is going to be the best and optimal place for it. I was going to put it right by the side of the engine, but it's very dangerously close to that turbo, and I know how hot that's going to get, and the last thing I want is to melt a big hole through it and be stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to make a bracket for over there, maybe. I'm still unsure yet. There's a big space there, but I can't utilise it because it's just too close to that turbo, so let's keep looking. So then, it might look like I've just cut a big chunk at my car. I knew it had to be done. I'm just not bothered. It wasn't necessary for me to do it. But basically, fan unit, basically the one that draws all the air and actually catches it. It doesn't now. It's just the stupid little plastic pipe bit that's right at the bottom. It must be a drain of some sort. So we can trim that back. That's no issue. What you also want to do was cut this bracket off. What we're going to do is sort of make a sort of wraparound bracket like we did for the brake reservoir. For your full one, and then like a sort of bracket over the top. But it's going to be the same on the one for the brake reservoir. I've just not done it yet. So basically we're going to weld it to the suspension strap. We have to be careful because there's another bar to actually go across this. And then what we're going to do is there's a little set of holes down the bottom there, sort of right down there. And we're going to basically just make a bracket that bolts onto that. It won't go in yet because obviously that's not mounted in yet, and basically we'll bolt it all together. It won't be too difficult, and basically the top sort of bracket will come off, and then we can take the reservoir out if we ever need to. So let's get cracking. So what we've made here is the bracket that's now going to hold that receiver vessel in. It's not a full bracket. Basically what I've done is I've basically made it so these can be unbolted, and then we can slide the entire unit out the top. It's a bit tight, and it'll probably be a little bit tight because I do want to put like some foam around the outside or some edging strip just to make sure it's not going to catch. And on the bottom and on the sides of that it'll be a piece of rubber foam, so it might be the fact that we have to knock it around a little bit. But I'm very happy with the way it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find a bit of 10mm threaded bar, or 8mm threaded bar I should say, and then basically tack that on, and basically that's what they'll attach to in theory. Let's get cracking. So there you go, that's one bracket for one water housing. I'm actually quite chuffed with that. It's actually turned out better than I thought it would. So it basically slides onto it, as you've seen, and basically that just goes over the top of it just to stop it coming out. It's not going to sort of slide out anyway, it's quite tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to tack that to the suspension arm bar. There is another bar to go over that, so we do need to be careful on the space, and basically that will go in top, and then we can start running water pipes. Let's get cracking. So, there you have it. I am going to bolt it, not weld it, so just wait it's tacked on. And I get some countersunk screws and just screw into that, just so I can remove it, because it is in the way a little bit for pulling the engine, because the engine obviously comes out up, and I should drop this up around, which is just a nightmare. So, what we're going to do now is I think this one here, we might actually use both of them. So this one is going to be this front one here, just under here. There's one down here we need to connect to it. A reserve basically runs from the turbo back, and then this one will actually connect to the other side of the thermostat. And then underneath is basically we're going to run the pipe underneath, round, down to the bottom of the radiator. Let's get cracking. So, as you can see, well, you didn't see in a way, I've run the water pipe from there, like the feed one, all the way down. It comes along the subframe, along the red bar at the bottom, like it was meant to do. It's how I planned it to be anyway. It was meant to be roughly there. It's meant to be a bit closer actually, but it'll do there. So it's come down, it goes to the bottom of the feeder radiator, then the one above it, which is obviously one of the returns from the water pump, basically comes from the pipe that's just here, just inside the engine bay here, straight down and there, and it's actually a Metro water pipe, so we're actually keeping one part from it at least. And then I've also run the one from the top of the manifold to here. Nothing is duly clipped in, it was just making sure everything was right, making sure I didn't need to order anymore. Obviously we've got our intercooler here. I'm thinking we're going to shorten this a little bit, just to tuck it in, because it's a bit tight on the inside, and we might lift it up a little bit as well, just to give it a bit more space. But for now I'm actually very, very happy. So what I'm going to do, I've been trying to put it off, but I don't really see a way of not doing it, is I'm actually going to cut the top of that off. What we're going to do is I'm going to remove the black pipe that's there, and I'm going to clean it up. And I'm going to tack a piece of steel in to hold it in place so it's not going to go anywhere. I'm basically going to cut the top off, and then we're just going to make the loop just a little bit bigger, just on the fact that I've not got enough. It's squishing the intake pipe, and we're trying to do as much as possible to restrict it. I can't run it any other way, sadly, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make that hoop just a little bit bigger. We're bulging the bonnet anyway because of the turbo manifold, and it's not going to be any higher than that, so let's get cracking. So, as you can see, what we've done today is down here, if you can see it, so this is our water pipe that runs from there all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if we can get you to see it, maybe. It runs down there, see? So it runs down there. We connected all our hoses up, so we're all connected all the way around now. This is the joint, I'm a little bit unsure, but we're going to see how it holds up. I've just cut this one here, just make it a bit shorter so it sits on a nicer line. As you can see, it sort of kinks again, but I might buy 45 for that one. And then what you see me do this afternoon, it's not clean, it's I'll wait until it's actually off the car, is basically make this a bit bigger. So now that we're not actually rubbing, because before it was actually squeezing that, which was obviously no good. And we finally got a water reservoir in, which is actually connected here and underneath. They're not pushed all the way up. I'm going to bring the heat gun in next week. Obviously we've still got some few things running, so we've got all the vacuum lines to run. So now we are literally waiting on wiring and vacuum lines. We are getting there. Sam, I'm super chuffed with what we've done today. This engine now is at the point where it is almost ready to run. Like I said, we're waiting on oil. I've got the last sensor actually come the other day, so the last sensor is ready to go in. Hopefully he's going to come up next weekend, give me a hand getting this last bit of wiring done. So next weekend is going to be one of them videos where it's just going to be all manic, and then the following week we should have all the oil and that to get it running. All I've got to do at the back is obviously put the fuel cap on. We were going to use a different one, but we're not now. We're just going to use the one that's there until I can get a better one, because I don't like the one that we've got. But Forms of the Smoking Retros, I hope you enjoyed the videos. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, drop a comment, and I'll see you next time.